Well, hello and welcome everybody back to my channel. I am joined today by a very special group of men and women, some of which I have not met. And some people are, hold on a second. We have more coming through. Hold on. We're just going to keep at, this is going to be a party. Look at all these people. Well, welcome everybody. We are here because we are honoring Jonathan and his beautiful efforts to bring an angelic group of not only presenters but beings, honoring the land of Mt Shasta, as well as the guests that are coming to see the presenters, to be a part of the land and the activation. So Jonathan, I just want to shout out to you real quick and give you the floor for a second to just say hello to everybody. And what does this conference mean to you? And thank you so much for having it. And thank you so much for inviting all of us to come and join.
Well, I want to share that, what you said, it's not my conference, okay? It's a conference, I believe, and what the angels have told me was birthed a long, long time ago. And for this specific time where the angelic intervention that I was told would happen when I was 3 years old. We're in that place now where the angels have to come to shift this planet. There's no other way. They promised me they would, and they will be. And the way they showed me a whole rainbow around the earth, and everything shifting and changing. So about a year ago, I received a message that it was time for this conference. And it's not about calling to the angels, but it's being that angelic presence within ourselves that we already are. And so it's a call to people who are in that angelic presence, but also a call to people who want to know how they can do that. And I'm blown away by the group of presenters, people who have heard that call, all of you and others who aren't here yet. And it's going to be beyond anything that we can even fathom. When we come together, the energy that goes into the morphogenic field is literally going to shift the earth. I know this. And living here in Mt Shasta, which is kind of a pinnacle for that energy, it's just, all I can say, if you feel a call, if you feel anything within that you need to go to Mt Shasta, the mountain's calling you. It's time. And we invite you to come here. So, who wants to share?
Well, thank you for that. I wanted to quickly put up before I say hi to everybody, because I do want to honor all the speakers and presenters that will be there that are not able to be with us today. And some of us will pop in as they can, because they are traveling. Lots of people are traveling right now. So Sacha Stone will be popping in, Lily Nova will be popping in, Laura Van Tyne will be coming in, and not everybody was able to make it, but I just wanted to honor everybody that will be presenting. Sacha Stone is the keynote speaker. We'll let him talk about what he is going to do for his half-day workshop. But again, it's in Mt Shasta, July 16th through the 20th. And I placed in the chat over here, and I'll keep doing it throughout, the link so that you can learn more information and to go ahead and purchase your tickets. I highly recommend that you guys come check it out. So we have right now, we have Janet, we have Alex, we have Aaron, we have Abby, we have Janice. Oh my gosh, what a great group, and more are coming. Let's have Janice go ahead and start. So what we're going to do is have everybody just introduce yourselves and let us know what you do and what you'll be presenting about. And then we'll just kind of go around.
Great. Well, thank you. My partner in this is Janet Elchiana, so we will both be speaking about who we are and what we're doing. We're beyond thrilled to be part of this conference, and of course, go to Mount Shasta. I've been wanting to go to Mount Shasta forever, and just thrilled for this opportunity. I am a spiritual mentor, been doing healing, mentoring for as long as I can remember. I'll let Janet speak a little bit about herself. She is a therapist and also does a lot of group workshops, healing, that kind of thing. We created together an angelic oracle deck called the Angelic Light for the New Earth. So here's a picture of it.
Beautiful.
And yes, we received these. It was a 3-year project in the making. And we received them finally on October 31st in physical form. And as soon as we opened the box of our shipment, we both heard Mount Shasta, that they really wanted to ground themselves in Mount Shasta. And this is an angelic light council, and they've come forth in the form of a card deck, but it really is an alchemical tool to Jonathan's point, to really activate, anchor, and embody your angelic nature. As Janet and I were creating this, we were realizing that as we would go from one angel to the next, each one built on the other. And as we really got into it, we were understanding how, maybe the first section was more about the healing. The second section was more about like the knowing, really knowing your light and your angelic nature. And the third part is about the alchemy, the transformation of actually the activations to really work through that process. They came in pairs, so we have a masculine and feminine counterpart for balance, to balance your own masculine and feminine nature, and they also have an integration symbol. So again, it's an activation and a framework to really work through the process of embodying your angelic nature. And I'll let Janet take it from here.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Sherri. This was such a great opportunity for us to even start to gather all of our energy together, which feels really important and honoring. So just to add in all that Janice is saying, and in some of the conversations with Jonathan, it's really about acknowledging that when this Angelic Light Council came in, it was very clear that they have been here before we have. And they are of the ninth dimensional consciousness. They're of the sacred peacock lineage, none of which we had any idea about before this. So it's been a really great unfolding about meeting these seeds that have been planted from ancient times and that are activated at certain predestined times on the earth. And this is one of them. And so it's really exciting. And that's what we plan to do. The energy will be so high at Shasta. And we also have had the message that they had said that it's just not only that they want to know that we need to call more angels into the planet because they need to be called in and they respond immediately. But they also need us to know ourselves as the human angelics. So we heard the calling for Shasta. They heard the calling to be here at this time. And we really look forward to bringing forth an activation, a communion with this council to ignite that seed for those within. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Janice and Janet.
I
can't wait to see those cards. Are you going to bring those cards with you?
Yes, we will.
We'll bring some.
Mm-hmm.
Thank
you.
Sorry, Janet.
Can I say one thing?
Mm-hmm.
So they sent me a free card deck around Christmas time. And there was so much light coming out of that box before I even opened it. And when I opened it, It's the most beautiful card deck I've ever experienced, and it's totally alive. Just what they shared, and
wow.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you, Jonathan, so much.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my kids are just barging in my room. I hope you didn't hear that. Aaron,
It's life.
I know there's like 5 or 6 teenagers in the hallway. They're probably
waiting
hungry.
for you.
Yes, where's the food? Aaron, thank you so much for joining. It's always a pleasure to speak with you. And so tell us a little bit about what you're going to be presenting on.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me for this. So I'm going to be speaking on the divine nature of reality and our true nature within that. And basically the idea that we are not separate from anything or anyone, the oneness, and that every moment we are participating in creating reality, and how that kind of works. And, with the unified field and our unified consciousness, and how, as above, so below, as within, so without, and kind of how we create reality, and how that's going to look moving into the future with this ascension and awakening process.
Yeah, and Aaron, you have an incredible book. I had you on my channel when you your book first came out. It's absolutely incredibly well done. Apologize, I can't remember the name at the moment. What's it called again?
It's called Waking to the Infinite Universe.
Waking to the Infinite Universe. I highly recommend that if you haven't read it, you get a copy because it's phenomenal. Are you going to bring some copies with you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
We'll have copies of them.
Very well done, very well researched, very well thought out. I know you have had a lot of your own thoughts in there. Is there going to be a part 2 at some point?
Yeah, I'm working on it right now. I'm working on it right now, actually. Yeah. So at some point, it'll be out. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Great. Well, thanks, Aaron. My dear friend, Abby. Oh my gosh, Abby. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm totally blissed out because I left the house this morning and did a amazing walk on the beach with my puppies and let them play, and then came back and was just in the sun longer with my daughter, like hearing your daughter in the background, those just natural angelic voices coming in, and just that beautiful innocence. I love it. So I'm feeling really blissed out because the sun feels really, really good, and very excited to get to Mount Shasta to feel that energy. I've been called there for a really long time. So I'm excited to get into the land, and I'm really looking forward to being a humbled voice of the angelics. I don't know if you guys know, I do toning and singing, and the angelics, actually, I was told for a while by my guides that I needed to go quiet for a while because something new was coming in for me. And I truly surrendered into that energy, and angelic beings came in and they toned and worked on my voice for 1.5 years. I worked with them in order to really broaden my range. And so for 1.5 years, we did pitch matching in the bathroom, in the shower. And when I would hear a tone, I would push back. I can't make that tone. And they would show me and give me images and verbally tell me where to soften the palette, where to soften the voice, where to put more pressure into hit a note. So I really did train for a solid 1.5 years with them in order to facilitate what the work that I'm doing now, which is I finally launched it, ley line travel, going out and getting into those power lines, into those power grids, the nervous system, let's say, of the planet. And I did a really powerful integration when I was in Giza 1 year ago, and I was up in the King's Chamber, and this whole angelic realm came in because I was seeing this overlay of a program that had been on the land. And we toned together to help break that in. So when we're bringing in those harmonic frequencies, that language, that light language, that's how we can begin to heal and remove these programs and these energies that have been overlaying on Gaia for thousands of years, hundreds of years. And so I'm really looking forward to coming in and toning for everyone. That's going to be part of my presentation. And then also, it's, and Jonathan point on this, how we can work with angelics in our everyday life, because I do that. I work with the angels all the time, and like we say, and Laura Van Tyne says this a lot. The angels get their karma too, the more they help us, and some of us forget that we have the ability to ask them for help, or we think, oh, that's this isn't important enough to ask them to come in and assist in my life. But they're standing there waiting, just wanting to come in and help and assist. So just giving people everyday examples of how we can work within those frequencies every day to assist us. So I'm really looking forward to speaking on that, speaking about the importance of vibrations in our life, the energy body, how we can use our own toning, finding our own voice, to be able to channel in, as Janet said, the angelic beings that we are. So.
That's wonderful, Abby. And for those of you that have not heard Abby tone, it's spectacular, and there are no words actually to describe the what comes out of your body. It's just like, it's magnificent. And we have a joke where we do retreats together, Abby, Laura, and I. And Abby is not allowed to do toning while I'm working in the other room with somebody, because she literally pops me right out of my body. And I'm like, no, I'm working. I can't, I got to stay. It's just so magnificent. So you're in for a treat to be able to be in person with Abby. She is one of my favorite people on the planet. Abby, you're incredible.
No, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, same to you guys. Yes.
Yes. Oh, okay. Well, Alex, you've been waiting very patiently, and Laura's in her car. Actually, I'm going to let her in. But Alex, please introduce yourself and let us know what you're going to be talking about.
Sure. Well, I'm very excited for this. I have driven through Shasta more than a handful of times, and every time I go, I can feel a magnetic pull to want to go towards the mountain. And so it was divine alignment and all timing, lined up for this to happen. So I'm really excited about the event. I loved chatting with Jonathan and getting to know a little bit more about him and the energy behind all of this. And I can just feel it ramping up. I've had some very unique experiences, I guess I could call them, with angels the past maybe month or so, two in particular that stand out, which I'll be talking about there. That have been very transformative for me and very healing for the people involved in the visions. So I can feel the energy starting to come in, and it's just really, really exciting. So a little bit about my background. I'm a clinical psychologist, and I've been seeing clients for over 20 years. And alongside my studies in psychology, I've also had a dual fascination with studying the ancient Aramaic language. And there's an argument that the Bible was originally written in Aramaic, not Greek. And when you understand that, there's a lot of things that unlock about the passages in there that were mistranslated. And so I'm looking forward to sharing some very unique insights from my studies about that, in particular about some lost meanings of angels. And then recognizing that the word angel means a messenger. And as my psychology background tells me, our emotions are also messengers. And so I'll be sharing kind of a unique blend of how messages come to us in a number of unique ways and give us signs and signposts towards greater well-being and contributing to this great awakening that we're all going through. And ultimately, then guiding folks through a very, very powerful meditation that I use every day. And this helps us kind of expand to higher states of consciousness. And then when we're able to do that, we're kind of opening the door even further to being able to be in communication with the angelic realm. So looking forward to it.
That's amazing, Alex. Thank you so much. You are in such high alignment, and you and I have such similar paths. We've spoken about that before. So I'm looking forward to seeing you in person again, speaking at another conference together. I'm going to let Laura, sorry, Gary, I'm skipping the line a little bit, but we need to let Laura speak real quick because poor thing's on the side of the road. And welcome, Sacha, to I'm Not Ignoring You. Welcome, Sacha and Gary. But Laura has very limited Wi-Fi, so we're just going to let her speak really quick because she also has to go, and I don't know for how long we have her for. So, Laura, welcome.
Thank you. And thank you, everybody, for giving me a little bit of grace here. I'm traveling and the weather's awful and the Wi-Fi is really, really sketchy. But Sherri, thank you for putting this on. It's nice to meet everybody, even for just a few moments. But I am excited about this because angels are the most underutilized resource that humans have. And when we can put this all together, come together to show people, even beyond the conference, what the power of the angels can do to assist us, assist humanity, that's really, it's one of my most important topics that I talk about, frankly, quite often, is the power of angels. So I plan on sharing a lot of angel stories. I shared one a couple weeks ago that was a true one. I've loaded for bear with angel stories, but I also want to teach people how to utilize their angels on a much deeper level. So thank you, Sherri.
Oh, thank you,
And
Laura.
everybody I cut in front of, so thank you.
Well, I can see you trying so hard to stay on, and you keep getting cut off. So I just wanted to give you an opportunity to at least speak real quick, in case we lose you.
All right, and with that, I'm going to let you guys go just because it's going to get a little, I'm going back and forth between 1 and 2 bars right now. But thank you all. Lovely to see you all for just a few moments even, and we'll see you this summer.
See you soon, Laura.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, Laura.
All right, bye. Bye, guys.
Drive safe.
Thank you.
Oh, hold on. I might have to remove her. There we go. All right. Gary, you've been waiting patiently. How are you doing?
Sorry, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can. It's nice to meet you, Gary.
Okay.
I have not met you yet.
That if you noticed, there was a full screen before and it disappeared. My browser will not support the audio, so I had to switch to the cell phone.
Okay. We can hear you okay?
We can hear you.
And Alex, I got to tell you something, just because I've had a rare fortune. When I meet you in person, we can talk privately, but you are correct. The original Bible with the disciples was in Aramaic. I have actually had the rare fortune of seeing an original book of Daniel that was written in Aramaic for my Magi astrologer, because I'm part of the Order of the Magi.
Fascinating.
So I can definitely help you out with your conquest on figuring all this out.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that.
So yeah, so I'm Gary Cromp. No one knows who I am here, probably, except for Shalomar. I'm probably the most unknown person in the world that does harmonics. So I'm going to just get up real quick, and this is my ascension chamber over here. So basically, it has geometric frequencies. So if everyone can hear that, that's an F sharp major chord and 3-part harmony. Yeah, everything in my house is kind of a mess right now, because I'm getting ready to go to the Integratron leaving tomorrow to actually go and see Eric Rankin, who I wish was here as well. He's doing an event there next weekend, and we're going to take all this stuff and all the research I've done and actually play it. So it's going to be interesting. And I'm going to open the conference up, which, as Shalomar told me, using a lot of what I've taken in there. And then getting on to like what my program's going to be about. Shalomar's tasked me that his vision was to play the frequencies of all the archangels. I'm still doing the research, guys. But I've got more than 3/4 of it nailed down.
Well, that sounds absolutely incredible, Gary. I got to get my hands on one of those for my learning centers for children. So we'll have to have a side conversation about that. That would be magnificent for them. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Sacha Stone, welcome.
Hi. Nice to see you all. Happy to see you there, Jonathan.
I don't think Sacha needs much of an intro, but I do have. Oh, hold on. Before I forget, I have this this slide for you guys to see. So you're doing a half-day presentation at the conference. I don't know which day, but I thought maybe you could talk a little bit, Sacha, about what you'll be presenting on, and then what's going on during that beautiful workshop you're hosting.
I don't know about half day. I've created two presentations. I thought
presentations. Okay.
I thought there was a morning and an afternoon one. That was what I thought. But
you have 5 hours. Yeah.
Great. Good.
Okay.
Good. That's the minimum I'm going to require to do deliver this particular payload. And 2 sessions because
yes,
because the first part, the Atlantean betrayal, I want to take a walk. I'd also call it bone shakers, from bone shakers to the mechanics of ascension. That to me is the kind of subject matter. And what I mean is the cosmological perspective, the cosmogenesis perspective, origin of the seeding of humanity in the grander galactical and cosmological sense. Obviously, there are literally tens of thousands of creation myths and creation stories. And I know because 25 years ago, I commissioned a study with the University of Georgia in Atlanta, United States, that their anthropological faculty is second to none. And I flew there from the United Kingdom specifically to meet with the professor there and the faculty and to commission a study into the creation mythology of all known tribes. So in the first instance, it was a year-long study which I commissioned to identify every tribal nation on Earth that is distinct, that has its own creation story, its own gods, its own song, its own dance, its own kind of culture, and its own language. And after a year, the faculty, the director called me back, and I flew back to Atlanta. And I remember, I'll never forget walking. This is an incredible man, Professor Dr. Deja Benedict, who spoke 26 languages. And as we were walking to the faculty lab, he said to me, we've given up. We said, we reached 10,000 tribes and we're still ongoing. So it's actually, you've opened a Pandora's box. What we've determined is that there's a limitless amount of tribal nations on Earth, all around Papua New Guinea and Indonesia, and across the globe. The more we research it, the more we look into it, the more we realize it's almost a Mandelbrottian fractal phenomenon. It's infinite. The languages and the gods and the creation myths and the stories and the dances and the cosmological framework, the conceptual framework of reality. There are literally tens of thousands of them. So he said, where do you want to stop the study? And I said, Christ, well, let's just define the top 1,000, the biggest demographics, from again, the Amazon basin to, the Ural plains of Russia to, the Antipodeans, blah, blah, blah. So we did. We then focused on the top 1,000 First Nation peoples and defined what is their language, what is their creation myth, what so on and so forth. And we then unified that, and we're able, now I could take those findings and I could put them into an AI engine. Not that I'd need to, because we already did the work manually years ago. What we were trying to do, I was trying to define what is the source code of the group dreaming of humanity. That's what I was after. And we discovered that the most prevalent creation myth on Earth was that there is a grandmother spider at the middle of the black hole that is the middle of the spiral galaxy of the Milky Way, and she's weaving her magic. So that's essentially the source code, the rudiment, is that it's a matriarchal feminine presence. It is a she. The spider is not a negative context at all. It's a powerful one. It's the grandmother. It's the weaver of magic, of mythos. And that to me was a great discovery, that despite the deception of history, despite the grand Luciferic thrall of a satanic age, the last 13,000 years of the great sleep as we fell through the grand procession of the equinox semi-arc into the descension cycle, this 13,000 years since the fall of Atlantis, since the time of Noah, apocryphally speaking, that 13,000 year descension arc, we've now broken through from the age of the Pisces into the Aquarian age, and we're now, for the first time, breathing in true vibral light. The geometry of light itself has changed. So the mechanics of ascension now greet us as the revelation itself, as the grace of the infinite God. And that's who we find, where we find ourselves on this precipice of the emergence, the convergence, the great shift of ages. But it's down now to the geometry of you in the living moment and me in the living moment, and how that geometry of our soul can move into absolute coherence with the Atman, with the Alpha Omega, so that we become completely unified as the living principle of God, as sons and daughters of God, as children of God. So that is the great challenge. How do we, so my talk on the Atlantean betrayal is really the first half of my talk at the Mount Shasta gathering, is really looking back and seeing that 13,000 year semi-arc since the time of Noah, and how we in a sense took a backward flip into the void collectively in order to explore the dissension, in order to gain traction, contrast, against which we could then define the true angelic nature of the superluminal human, which now that we've learned what that contrast is at the collective level, we are now ready, we've come of age, and we take with us all the lower realms of expression as well into their journey home. So we act as the bodhisattva, our 13,000 year dissension. Those of us, all of us here who've had multiplicity of incarnations in the last 13,000 years, each incarnation invariably a painful episode, you know, but each of us acting as the messianic principle, each of us acting as the Christ of ones, the Sophic wisdom carriers through the dark age. And here we are, here we reconvene, we find ourselves again in the emergence of this new geometry of light. The difference is now our dreaming becomes congruent. The geometry is all leaning into a unified singularity, a principle. And that principle speaks to our immanence, our divinity, our immortality. And the more that we can lean into that knowing and the being of the knowing and the knowing of the being of our immanent, Christic, Sophic coming of age, and the more we can say #fuck the government and the goddamn Catholic Church and all the Saturnian bullshit that was trying to take us outside of that immanence, trying to get our attention, which it managed to do for an awful long time, and time being the very technology that I'm speaking against here. And the fact that we need to come of age and move beyond 1260 tick-tock time, because time was the trick. Time was Cronus. Cronus is the titan that devours its own young. Cronus, okay? Tick-tock, the crown, the state, government, third-party intervention, the priest, the banker, the doctor, the teacher even. It's all about third-party intervention. So we're now coming back into a singularity where we're moving beyond guru. We're moving beyond the need for third-party intervention in any aspect of our lives. And that's where the true superluminal dreaming comes into play. You know, I've got a technology here on my desk. I have many technologies here, actually. You know, I've got the Vajra Dorj here. I'll bring this with me. But to speak to the Vajra Dorj, and this is an old one from Southeast Asia, my home in Bali, but the Vajra Dorj as a living technology, a capacitor of ascension, that's a technology. This, the talking sticks of the Aboriginals, you know, that is the most powerful technology I actually know in the world, way above anything else. That technology, these were gifted to me by the elders of the Guardians of Uluru, the true gatekeepers in Australia. But these talking sticks, that sound banishes all dystopia, all incoherence in the field, removes all demonic elements, literally banishes them into a 0 point. So you do that, there's your copal and your incense, your frankincense, your, you know, priests trying to come in and banish the demons. You just need that. Get back to the elemental sounds, the elemental frequencies. My friend Gary Cromp here would understand this probably more than most, you know, but frequencies, the most primal frequencies exist as a living technology for us. Obviously things like this, you know, the orgonite, incredibly powerful technology. And for me, the most sane technologies of all are just the paramagnetic stones that contain. This one is from the basin of the Ngonya waterfalls in the heart of Western Zambia, which I picked up from when the waters receded in the drought. Picked this up. This is lain under the Zambezi River for millions of years. I managed to pull this up. That's in the heartland of the place where we're building the New Earth micronation in Africa. So the point being, my first talk in Shasta is really looking over our shoulders at the history of time, the fiction of time. I will explore the satanic, Saturnian, Luciferic dimensions of our backstory and hopefully succeed in explaining and elucidating why there is no such thing as evil. There cannot be, there never was. It is a misperception to speak in terms of evil. And even when you're talking in terms of sacrificial ritual harvest of innocence or sacrifice of innocence, the geometry that exists in those engagements is not what you think it is. So, but I need time to be able to explain the forensics of the fiction of time. So I'll be doing that with the Atlantean betrayal element, which also talks about Newton and Descartes and Darwin and Einstein, these great bearded mofos with their cigars and their pipes, from the Victorian era, because that's the thrall that we've been stuck in the last couple of hundred years. Certainly the last 500 years of the Vatican conspiracy, we've been, all of us, diligently mind-fucked into a very reductive worldview where it's all based on scarcity economics, it's all based on psychocultural dystopian fear reflexivity, like they're coming to get us, we've got to arm ourselves and get ready to defend. Great. So you start to defend and protect yourself against the bogeyman, you've just manifested the bogeyman, baby. You think in terms of genuflecting and banging your head on the ground and revering and worshiping and sacrificing in order to abate the angry, jealous gods. You've just manifested those gods in the ethos, culture, civilizationally. So the Yahweh, Jehovah, angry, jealous gods, the elemental cloud intelligences that devour us like the Titan, like Cronus, 1260 time. Time is an idea. It's a bad idea. 1260 time is literally how we program death into the mRNA, the DNA. So wishing you happy birthday, happy anniversary is me wishing death upon you. I wouldn't dream of wishing you happy birthday. I wouldn't dream of celebrating any anniversary under any circumstances whatsoever. It is a deviance. And it's something which we need to intellectually understand the mechanics of how we have been sucked into this relentless wheel, this parasitic, cannibalistic, self-harming wheel at the civilizational level. So that's when I talk about Newton and Descartes and Darwin and Einstein. Again, these kind of patriarchal, all-knowing figures that hover in the ethers in our historical reference. Enough, khalas, baby, as they say in Palestine. Enough. Just stop the bad dreaming. Now let's move into the immanent dreaming. And that's my second part of the talk that I'll do. The second 2.5 hours will be the geometry of revelation, unveiling the Alpha Omega, which is the New Earth blueprint that my team, my group, over many, many years have been very steadfastly developing. And in fact, we just launched a week ago the New Earth Exchange. We have literally unveiled a parallel financial system. We've created the tram lines, years in the building, inordinate amounts of time and energy and resource and investment has gone into it. And in a few weeks' time, we unveil the New Earth Bank. It's a global banking. We have the crypto bank already, the ghost wallets and the capacity to exchange and transact freely. So it's taking off already in a big way. We've got governments contacting us. Yesterday I convened a meeting of half a dozen of the preeminent kings in South Africa, and they're looking to adopt the banking system that we've created because we've literally now managed to define where that third-party intervention came in to the socio-economy and the socio-ecology. So I need to explain the depth and the breadth of the New Earth Exchange, the New Earth Bank, and the New Earth. That's the algorithm, the actual technology, which we've now just unveiled. And the rest of this year, we're just bringing it into the mainframe, getting more and more people to understand what it is that we've done. So you can literally switch from your entrapped fiat nonsense where your savings and pensions and transacting is all subject to the heist and the theft of powers that be, and you can move now into a completely a private and completely secure way of safeguarding your future and that of your family. So that's a bit more heady. The geometry of Revelation has got actually to do with economics and ecology and how we reclaim 0 point at the level of the individual, the family, the community, and then the culture. And so that's a heady piece that needs a couple of hours to explain. It's very exciting because it also, I bring in historical references for that and show, Doomsday 1066 and William the Conqueror and, ancient Egypt and King Solomon and Queen of Sheba, who and what these archetypal figures were in the context of how we became enslaved and slowly surrendered and abdicated our divinity to third-party intervention. And this year, 2026, is the hallowed year where we actually can opt out for the first time in the history of time. So that's an exciting piece, and that's why I was excited about coming to Shasta to share the backstory and then the technology. There you have it.
Well, there you have it, guys. We're done. That's we're done for today. I don't know if there's anything else to be said.
Thank you, Sacha.
That was great, Sacha. That was very thorough. And Jonathan, I have one request for you. I don't want to speak after Sacha, so please put me before Sacha. Okay, I would not like to follow him. Great, Sacha. You're very poetic in your speaking, very passionate, and I'm excited to be in the audience listening to all of that. It's. I agree with so many things you said. I don't even know what to say. So I'm just going to pass it on to Jonathan. Did you have anything that you want to say about the schedule of? Do you have the schedule yet of who's presenting when or which day Sacha's going to present those two? And also in the audience, the chat, a few people have asked, is there a virtual option for people to listen in? A couple questions there.
There isn't a virtual.
Okay.
No. It's important that people be there.
Okay.
But it will be filmed. So, and as I shared with Sacha will have the rights to it. So he can do whatever he wants with it.
Oh, well, my only thing is to give things out as quickly and freely and openly as possible. So that's going to play well.
But yeah, Sacha's workshop will be on the third day. Okay. So it'll be right in the middle of the conference. Okay. And I believe we said from 9 to noon, and then an hour and a half lunch break, and then 1:30 to 4.
All right.
And then there'll be a long break, and we'll have an evening get together. But for those who haven't been to Mount Shasta, I can share in words, my experience of Mount Shasta, which has been beyond anything I could ever imagine. Dreams brought me to Mount Shasta. A near-death experience brought me here. But the energy of Mount Shasta is, as the angels shared with me, and I've shared with a few of you, the angels told me several years ago, if you could see Mount Shasta as we see Mount Shasta, you wouldn't see a mountain. You'd see a mothership with a wormhole connected to the center of the galaxy. So my experience of Mount Shasta is it's a replica of the center of the galaxy. There's a deep stillness here beyond, that sits behind everything. And the center of the galaxy, from what I've experienced, is totally still, and everything revolves around it. So the mountain is calling everyone here, because as Sacha said, we're moving into a whole new paradigm.
Mm-hmm.
It's beyond anything that, the words, it's the energy when we come together that's going to really shift everything. And it's going to shift everybody there. The angels told me that everybody there will reach the 51% of silicon within their body. The light just become light. And there's so much more I can say. There's so much beauty here. I've lived here 40 years now, and I've yet to even see maybe a tenth of what's here. But the experience is there's seven ley lines that crisscross over top of Mount Shasta. That's what allows all the extraterrestrial, interterrestrial beings to come in and out. And they're not to be worshipped. No one's to be worshipped. So my vision is everyone that comes here to be totally and know their power within themselves, so that we can move into this new paradigm that we're creating, that we came here to create.
Thank you, Jonathan. Absolutely. And I haven't shared yet exactly what I'll be speaking about. So most of you already know I work mostly with children, but I also have been working with adults for over a decade, and I've been an animal nurse for over 20 years. So animals and children are very dear to my heart. And so I will be incorporating my work with children and animals and the angels. So that's actually the first time I've ever done a presentation where I'm going to share a lot of experiences where the angelics have come into my sessions to work with children, to work with animals when I was an animal nurse. Beautiful. And some of my own personal experiences with my children. So I'm really looking forward to changing up my presentation. I try to do a different presentation every single conference I go to. I've never repeated the same presentation twice because I always like to kind of renew it. But I'm really excited to talk about, what Sacha is saying, where we're going, where we're heading. This divine blueprint that's activating is clearly ignited within the newer generations of children, and will only continue to expand as future generations are born. So now is the time, and the angels and our guides and our guardians and the indigenous and the ancients are all coming through to help us, as well as ourselves, to pave the way, to create the foundation. And what a beautiful place, what a beautiful honorable space to join and gather in celebration than Mount Shasta. So maybe real quickly, for those of you, I know many of you are on a time constraint, and my other son just came and tried to barge in the door. So we'll wrap this up soon. But does anybody have any stories or anything about Mount Shasta that they want to share about, things that have happened to them while they were there? Just for those that might be on the fence about, do I want to make the trip? Do I want to travel to Mount Shasta? It's so far away. All the things that we can come up with in our mind of why we shouldn't go. Anybody here want to share a positive experience about Mount Shasta in general? Because I've never been, so this will be my first time. I'm very excited to go.
Mm-hmm. I think there's only a few of us that have been there. Aaron, do you want to share anything?
Sure. I mean, I don't have any like super crazy stories, but every time I'm there, it's just like an activation. It's like it's a powerful place, like you said, Shalomar, and like many people here have said already. It's very powerful. It's very special, and you feel it when you're there. You feel the energies, and especially I feel like when these events happen there, it's a very powerful activation of the combination of the Shasta energy and what's going on there, and with our energy and us being together. That's very powerful. And I feel like every time I've been there has been for a conference, and it's like an activation every time. It's so powerful every time. And the very first time I was there was my very first conference, actually, and it was life-changing. It totally changed my life. It was such a powerful activation. And it's funny because I had no idea that was going to happen in that way before going there. It was just like, but it was like divinely orchestrated, you know. And I think this conference is divinely orchestrated. Absolutely, like you said, Shalomar, you were told, you know, this needed to happen at this time. And yeah, it's just, you know, you'll see lots of ships in the sky every night, UFOs, and you might see some beings. You might have some portal activity. I mean, Sasquatch, you name it. It's all going on there. My good friend Barry, I think, went through a portal once on a hike where he ended up like miles away.
Of course he did.
Yeah, of course he did. It's very, yeah.
Of course Barry did.
Miles away down the mountain, like physically, there's no physical way you could have traveled that distance in that amount of time. And lots of things like that happen there because it's a very, you know, active place. So yeah, I just encourage everyone to make the trip. It'll be worth it. It'll be probably life-changing. And if you feel called, which, you know, if you have the thought like, oh, I really want to go, I think that means you're supposed to go. You know.
I agree with what you just said, Aaron. I think that's true for any conference, any retreat, and just pretty much anything in life. It's divinely organized and orchestrated based on your frequency and vibration, and are you in alignment with that experience at that time? And I know a couple people said they can't afford it. You know, it doesn't mean that you're not in alignment with it or you're not good enough to go. It just means that this isn't the time for you. But at some point, it may be, or there may be another experience coming up for you that is more in alignment with what your soul needs at this time. And so I think that those that are going to be there are there for a reason. Those presenting are presenting for a reason, because it's divinely organized. I believe there are no accidents. And so Janice and Janet, I know you mentioned you had to leave by 3:00. Did you want to say anything, Janice, about your times? And I know you mentioned your oracle cards, but do you have anything special about Mount Shasta that you wanted to mention or share with anyone?
Oh, this is my first time going to Mount
Shasta.
Oh,
it is your first time going.
Yeah. So I'm very excited because I've been called there for such a long time. So we're beyond excited to actually go be there. Yeah.
Well, Alex, is there anything else you wanted to say before we wrap up?
No, I mean, Aaron hit it in terms of the story I was going to share with Barry. And
sorry. You can still share it.
Well, I mean, it's interesting, right, to kind of hear these stories. I wasn't there, so I only heard it afterwards. But I know, Aaron, you have a unique tie-in to the land. You got married there, didn't you?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. You did.
I had a ceremony on the mountain at the spot that we met on the hike that we met on the mountain. We kind of recreated it, and yeah, it was very special. So it's a very special place for both of us.
I'll share one more thing, and that is that you know, when I first moved here, I lived for 20 years up on the mountain, 1,000 feet above town. Lived in a small cabin without electricity. And I know this mountain as well as anyone. And so it's about being empowered within yourself. It's not seeking something out there. It's like, when you find what you're looking for within, it'll materialize outside. Well, there is no outside, inside, of course, but so a lot of people come here looking for Telos, the inner city, and they never find it, because it isn't about seeking it. It's about being it, finding it within here. Because this is where it is. It's inside. And So many people worship names. Names aren't supposed to be worshipped. Never were. So it's taking our power back. And that's what this conference is about. Being empowered within ourselves, within all of our dimensions, all of our angelic ET presence within ourselves. And in sharing that in a group, it's going to be profound. It's going to be so profound. And for anybody that sees this as a hardship, think of it as a pilgrimage. It's a spiritual pilgrimage to yourself. And when you come here, the magic that's here, you will just go, I'm so glad I came.
I can't wait. Someone in the audience just asked, Janice, and Janet, where can people buy your cards? Mm-hmm. Or will you bring some with you?
Yeah, we'll definitely bring some with us, but we also have a website called angeliclight.love. So that's angeliclight.love if you'd like to look there, but we'll bring as many as we can. And we really look forward to feeling the frequency and sharing that with everyone. Yes. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, Abby Lynn.
Yes. I wanted to add in, after listening to Sacha speak, that his initial part rang so true to me because, as I stated earlier, I do vocal toning, but my ability is I go into an area and I can tap into the energies that are stored within the land, within the rocks, within the trees, and feel and hear their voice, their sound. And I was in Dominican Republic at the end of January, and this female, we were getting ready to go out into the ocean for the week to swim with humpback whales. And this female in the mountain was really just wanting to come through because we were still on land. And for me, it's turned more into when I'm hearing and seeing these tribal nations, they are sharing with me their dancing, their movement as part of the ritual. And it's so important because even as their bodies are moving, they're building up that energy within them. And so I was seeing this tribe of women, and I knew that this was a ritual that they would do often. And as their energy was building and building, it would end with a boom, and they would just slam their foot down hard right near the water's edge. And when they would do that, because the energy had been built up so much in their being, their connection being, it went boom and just shot right down the ley line, and it lit up. And that was their connection to the ocean. They were connecting to their whale brothers and sisters through them. And that's how we can project our hearts and our souls into spaces where we don't share words, but we share energy and that higher connection. And so when Sacha was speaking on that, that's what I've been beginning to see and witness. And again, even though our time feels like this was prior, this was ago, they're still living there now. It's still existing now in that space. And the message I continue to get over and over is the time is now. The time is now. And they are wanting to work with us because they are all feeling this in the same time that we are. And it's this whole planet is ready just to leap forward and to feel in such a profound, I don't want to say like a Christos way, to feel that, to activate our light bodies again. And so I'm very excited to get into Shasta, to see what the mountain, has to sing, what her sound is and what she's ready to share. And again, just as Jonathan has said repeatedly, you're just activating you're activating your memories. Every time you're coming into these spaces, this is why they're called sacred spaces, you're activating a memory. And so many of us are here in this incarnate life to hold that light, to hold that memory, to reawaken it and bring the physical movement and the embodiment there. So I'm really excited to get to the mountain.
So well said. I think that everybody, Jonathan, has cultivated very dynamic group of individual presenters. Again, no hierarchies. No one should be put on a pedestal. It's just sharing the journey. So just like I'll be sharing my journey of working with animals and children, and Abby will be talking about sacral toning and her journey, and as a mother, as a wife, all of us sharing our journeys as healers, as business men and women, and entrepreneurs, and spiritual guides, and mentors, and also students. We're all learning, we're all developing, we're all activating, we're all changing, and we're all, and I hope that we all strive to become better versions of ourselves continuously, because the cycle never ends. Not because we're stuck, we don't want to become stagnant. We're just always striving to be the best version of ourselves, and experiences are conducive of that. And Sacha mentioned, it has to do with, like, we're the architects. We are the architects of our reality. We can control so much more than we can. And this reality is so inverted. There's so many false belief systems and programs that we're born into, and it's inherent. It's inherent even in a cellular level, which is why I work so tirelessly with children to help them break free, break the cycles, stop the programming, and so that they can think for themselves and ignite that wisdom from within. And we're all doing that together. And when we come together in sacred union that Jonathan's creating, we can ignite and activate each other, not only the people in the audience, but I can't wait to hear all of you present, because I learned something from everybody, and we all should be open and receptive to learning new things. Even if two people are sound healers, there's something one can teach the other, and that goes for pretty much everything. So Jonathan, thank you so much for your courage to continue to put this conference on for forever. And thank you for inviting all of us to speak. Do you have any last words, or does anybody have any last words that they want to say before we, I guess Lily wasn't able to make it, but we will see, we wish her well, and we'll see her. And I think Brooks was not able to make it as well, but that's okay. We will see them in July. Anyone else have anything they want to say before we close up?
Well, I was just going to say that the gate is going to be open, and there's Shalomar and I have gone up there many times to the sacred springs, and the wildflowers will be in full bloom. That's another really important reason to come. And up there is where all the geomagnetic finds are that I put in my technology that I'm going to have. So it's very worth it. The self-discoveries and all that. I know two people that have done that travel where they fell into the mountain somehow and came out 5 miles later from up there on top. I myself have almost got to have interaction with a Lumerian up there. Two hikers messed that up for me. It phased out when their fields entered. And I talked to one of them, and I understand why. Their vibration was way too low. Everything's an energy and vibrational match with this mountain. So yeah, when I do my main presentation, I will be using some of the frequencies and the codes that work for these people. So at the end of the conference, if you're still here, you can go up there. If you're speaking Telos, and see what your energy match could do with it. I guess that's about it.
And one other thing is, so there's some, besides Gary, there's some amazing people here working with frequency. And one of them has created a really beautiful scalar device. We're going to have 2 scalar devices there that will be putting out angelic frequencies. So we'll be bathed in that the whole time, with the mountain as, dessert. So we'll just be in a frequency all the time. And there'll be plenty of time at the end to go up on the mountain and be in the stars, be in the energy of the mountain. And there'll be several breaks. There's longer breaks, and so people can experience, we can't take 200 people up on the mountain. Everybody's going to have to, go in groups, but And there's just beautiful waterfalls here and so much here. And I'm so grateful to all of you that you're going to be here.
Well, I have placed the ticket website to get your tickets, to learn more information, see what who is presenting in the chat several times. I also have it in the description of this video, and it's all over all of our social medias. We've all posted, so it's fairly easy to find if anyone's looking to learn more. I just want to honor and thank all of you for joining us today, or Alex, Gary, Janice, Abby, Janet, Aaron, Jonathan, Laura, who had to go, Sacha, who had to go, and even those that were not able to make it today. And also all of you taking some time out of your beautiful Sunday to watch this broadcast and to honor this beautiful conference coming up in July, which it's like a blink of an eye and we'll be there before you know it. So thank you, everybody, for your time and energy exchange today. It was beautiful, and I hope to see you all there. Any last words, anybody?
No.
Thank
Thank you so much, Sherri.
Thank you, Sherri.
Thank you. See you
Much
there.
appreciated.
See you in Shasta.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see you soon.
See you all there.